meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for Tuesday, October the 4th. We do have a couple of changes to the agenda. Under the consent agenda under Human Resources B, we have salary adjustment for 2 grant-funded employees in OPD. You've got memos on your desk. We've got a job description update that also will go under B, under consent agenda. And if you would change our very last item from adjournment to recess, and we will recess to our recessed meeting, work session meeting on October the 12th. So if you will make those 3 changes, are there any more, Braxton, Ashley?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right, do I have a motion to accept the agenda with those changes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Over the past 2 weeks, the Oxford Conference Center has hosted several large conferences, and we are excited to see the conference business picking back up. We were excited to have the Municipal Court Clerks Conference, and I was honored to get to welcome more than 200 municipal court clerks from across the state. Had the privilege of being the guest on the Mississippi Department of Transportation's podcast. I was very well behaved. Y'all will be glad. I didn't talk about MDOT like I usually do. And it really was good, though, to get to share on that statewide broadcast about the tremendous growth that we're having, about the challenges and the successes, and about our need for partnerships with our state partners like MDOT. Alderman Bailey and Chief Operating Officer Bart Robinson and I spent 4 days in Washington, D.C. last week, meeting with Senator Wicker, and we also met with both Cindy Hyde-Smith's office staff and Congressman Trent Kelly's office staff, and we met with several program managers from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers at their headquarters. I plan to have a post on Facebook that sums all that up in the coming days. We are still recuperating from a huge football weekend and a 5th win, I might add, and are already getting ready for 2 weeks from now when the Auburn Tigers come in town to get stomped. So we want them to feel very welcomed while they get stomped, but we're already putting things into place. Our office has gotten our share of complaints about traffic, and so I've had to educate a few folks on the fact that when you have infrastructure for a town of 28,000 people and 150,000 show up within an hour of game time, there are going to be some challenges. They cannot believe that the police department lets people cut in on the highway who zoom up the side of the long line and then try to merge in at the exit ramps. So Jeff, work your magic. And I was like, ma'am, that's not illegal. And she was like, but it's rude. I'm like, well, I can give you a list of rude stuff that's happened today that I can't charge anybody with. So anyway, we will keep plugging along. And with the Auburn game being at 11:15, the lady who phoned in about those challenges can probably expect the exact same situation 2 weeks from now. I would now ask you to authorize the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on September the 20th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ask you to authorize the approval of accounts for all city departments.
Move we pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ask you to consider the consent agenda with those 2 additions to section B on the consent agenda.
Move to approve with the changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to advertise for bids for LED light upgrades for the baseball field lights at M-Trade Park. Brad Freeman. And Rick Addy has joined us by phone. Ashley, I don't know if you saw that. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Mayor Board, we want to get the light project started, so we're coming here tonight to get permission to accept bids for that.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Donna Zampella can come on up. Request permission to approve the contract and budget for FY 2022-2023 for the Oxford University Transit System.
Yes, ma'am. First, I just wanted to thank you for the kind words you said yesterday on the podcast about
Absolutely. Well, y'all do an amazing job. We are proud to be a partner with you.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. And everybody should know that one of the best ways that we affect our infrastructure when it is as overpowered as it is in this tremendously growing town, is by promoting our Oxford University transit system. And Donna does an amazing job managing more than 1.5 million riders a year. And that is that many car trips from A to B that didn't happen in a car. So what the service that you provide to our community and how you help us maintain our infrastructure and our traffic is tremendous. So thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. The contract is with Paul Watkins, looking it over, so once he gives his blessing, then we'd like for the mayor to sign. MDOT just got that to us, even though it started yesterday, or Monday, so.
I'll move we approve with the approval of the council and authorize the mayor to sign once it's approved by council.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you very much. Consider a memorandum of understanding between the City of Oxford and North Mississippi Regional Center for services provided by the center's clients. Amberlyn. And I know we've got several people here from North Mississippi Regional Center as well. Welcome.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so excited to have this in front of y'all tonight, back working with the clients from the Regional Center. It's up to 45 man-hours per week, and it is great for both the City of Oxford and for the residents of North Mississippi Regional Center.
Well, we are thrilled to have this partnership back in place, and we thank you so much for the service that your clients provide. All right, is there a motion to sign this memorandum of understanding?
So moved.
So moved.
And that was a lot of motions and seconds all at once. So all in favor? Any opposed? Great, thanks so much, and thank y'all. Thank you for being here. Second reading, public hearing, and potential vote on a proposed ordinance amending Chapter 94, Solid Waste, Article 3, Collection and Disposal, Sections 94-58 and 94-60, Garbage and Recycling Collection Fees. Fun.
Yes, just like our groceries and fuel, guess what? Your garbage bill is going up for residential, $1 per month, from $21 to $22, and commercial rates will increase by 15%.
So this is a second reading. We had our first reading and went over all of these details at our last meeting. This is also a public hearing. Is there anyone here that is here to speak regarding this ordinance change? All right, so we have not had any feedback, positive or negative, that I'm aware of. Ashley, you haven't received any. Amberlyn, have you received any feedback?
I have not.
From anyone since our last meeting?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the board's desire?
I'll make a motion that we approve the changes to the ordinance.
Second.
All right, and so just to summarize for those in attendance, that is a motion and second for residential garbage collection to increase by $1 a month, and commercial dumpster collection will increase by approximately 15%. So,
Mayor, if we go ahead and vote on it tonight, which of course I probably will be against the increase, it'll only be 45 days. They still have to wait before we start charging. Is that correct?
30.
30, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
It's 30 days for an ordinance to cure, so, yeah. And it is an ordinance change. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? We're all opposed, but we also know that we've got to run this
John
business.
voted for.
That's right, let the record show that Alderman.
I abstained, I believe.
All right, second reading, public hearing, and potential vote on a proposed ordinance amending Chapter 94, Solid Waste, Article 3, Collection and Disposal, Section 94-55, Collection Service for certain materials not provided by the city. Amberlyn?
This addition would prevent anyone from abusing the services that we currently offer by basically piling up sofas weekly at the curb.
All right. So the addition to this ordinance, what would be added if adopted, is that garbage, refuse, trash, or light materials in excess of that produced through typical residential uses on site, including periodic home renovation activities conducted on site by the occupant/owner. Any garbage, refuse, trash, or light materials originating off-site are considered in excess of typical residential use on site. So that would be the change that we are considering. Is there anyone that is here, as this is a public hearing, is there anyone here that would like to speak to that ordinance change? All right, again, we have, since our first reading, not received any comments at our office. Have y'all received any, Amberlynn?
ma'am.
All right, what is the board's desire?
Move we approve the changes.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to adopt the new rates from Three Rivers for the transfer station tipping fees.
This would, I would be asking you to adopt $58 per ton at the transfer station for tipping fees, $58 per ton. And this is all in result of what it's costing us. on a
This is a
77
pass-through charge
yes.
So moved.
from Three Rivers.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
And that
Thank
can go, that's not in ordinance, so that can go in effect immediately.
Three Rivers can change it on our system tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, Amberlynn.
Thank y'all.
First reading of a proposed ordinance amending Articles 7 and 10 of the Land Development Code. Ben?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm here before you with a few changes to our land development code and the signage provision. One in particular to define rope lighting. We're actually adding that to the definitions, but then we have rope lighting defined in the ordinance under sign lighting, and it would eliminate the exterior of a structure or the exterior or interior of a storefront or along the perimeter of any window or within 3 feet of that window or structure to have rope lighting, which is like LED lighting, and we've seen them flash. They're, they can create glare and safety issues to passerbys and the vehicles and driving down the road. So we're proposing to not allow that, and then we would also make this effective, and everybody would have to come into compliance within 30 days if this was to be approved. We are also proposing some material requirements for signs that they have to be constructed of metal or painted or stained wood, masonry, glass, ceramics, concrete, or other materials if approved by the director. Corrugated plastics, we're seeing really long lead times on signs, and so we've seen some people use like corrugated plastic signs, which you would see for like maybe a yard sign, and they're installed, and so our concern is that those become permanent signs as opposed to a temporary situation. So we're putting in those design standards, and then also for monument signage, we've been seeing like the pole structure for a monument sign still exposed, and so we're requesting that a change be made to say that has to be screened with some sort of a direct decorative base, like enclosed brick, decorative masonry, natural or decorative stone wood. And then we did make a change to section 10, which is our definitions to define rope lighting.
All right, so this is in fact just a first reading of this proposed ordinance amendment. This is of course posted on online on our agenda, so we encourage the public to review this and to show up at the next meeting or to email us prior to with any comments or questions that they have regarding that ordinance change.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Request permission to approve a list of unmarked vehicles for the Oxford Police Department as required by state statute. Chief?
Yes, ma'am. This is our yearly list that we update with our current fleet.
Move we approve.
Motion made to approve.
So, Jeff, if any criminals want to know what cars are unmarked, they can just go on
That's right.
here and check.
We can thank the state for that. That's right.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
We
I
really
noticed-
appreciate you pointing that out, too,
know.
Alderman.
I noticed it and I was
It's
like,
really helpful.
why are we telling
It's
everybody
helpful.
what the unmarked
Always
vehicles
count
look
on you to
like?
be helpful.
You're asking
All right,
yourself
that's
why
a
you tell
motion and
everybody
a
you need to
second. All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to accept the municipal compliance questionnaire for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2022. Ashley?
Yes, believe it or not, we are at the end of a fiscal year, beginning of another one. This is one of the requirements from the state. It kind of is a guide for the things that we're supposed to do during the year. You'll see that for the majority of the questions we answered yes to. There are a couple of no's and things that we're working on, but for the most part, that is it.
All right.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to accept the FY 2021 audit for Visit Oxford as approved by the Visit Oxford Board.
Yes, the Visit Oxford audit, as it said, is approved by the board. It is a part of our annual audit, and we just thought for as a matter of housekeeping, we'd get y'all to approve it as well.
Move we accept.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, request permission to apply for the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation grant with no match, our favorite kind.
Yes, Shane couldn't be here with us tonight, so he asked me to present this. It is the same, one of the same Firehouse Subs grants that we apply for through the fire department, and it is no match.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider a proposal from Elliott and Britt Engineering for the 2020 census redistricting. Mr. Levy?
As you can see in the memo, the city is required to update the population data for our voting wards following a decennial census, which occurred in 2020. This proposal is from Ben Smith at Elliott and Britt. It's to determine the population of each ward, the current population, determine if the population distribution is greater than 10%. If the distribution between the highest and lowest population exceeds the threshold, Mr. Smith will work on some options to redraw the wards to meet the federal and state law. The next municipal election is set to be held in June of 2025. And
All
you
right.
have the proposal before you.
You have the proposal attached to your agenda.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Consider a request from RATP Dev to authorize the release of bonds for the Oxford University Transit System and to place a new bond.
Steve Scher with RATP Dev is requesting the city release the current performance bond in place of a new bond. This is mostly procedural, but I wanted to get the board's authorization because it is a contract with the city, and I would like to state also in the minutes that RATP Dev ensures that the city, there will be no loss of coverage and no increase in premium in the bond changeover.
Move we approve.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to advertise for bids for the construction of a new basketball court on South 18th Street Extended.
This last item
After
is,
several delays,
yes, I'm sorry.
after several false starts on the offense, here we go.
Yes. The last is permission to advertise for the basketball courts. I'd initially intended for this to be under the bid threshold, and I've talked to multiple contractors who said that's not going to be possible. So the plans and specifications have been finished and completed, and they're included in the memo. I think y'all have those. And with the plan is to advertise, if approved tonight, on October 8th and 15th, and open bids on November 9th, and then I will be back with a certified bid tab on November 15th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request permission to accept the bids received for aggregate materials. Rihanna?
Thank you. We held a reverse auction for our aggregate materials. A bid tab is included in your packet, and so I would ask that you accept these annual bids.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider a request for revocable license for signage at 407 West Jackson Avenue for Peace Lutheran Church.
Yes, Peace Lutheran Church reached out. They are requesting to place a sign on the right-of-way of West Jackson Avenue. The packet includes a couple of photographs that show where the sign is to be located. When they were working with the planning department regarding what type of sign, they realized, we brought it to their attention that the right-of-way on West Jackson is actually offset from the center line of the roadway. So they believed that where they were going to place the sign was their property, but it is in fact on city right-of-way because of the offset nature of the right-of-way there. And so your packet shows where they're proposing to put it about midway up that slope. there. It would be back well beyond the clear zone. They're asking to place a wooden post sign, and if that would be approved by planning. They are reviewing the sign right now, but any revocable license would be contingent on approval and receipt of a permit from the planning department.
Considering we've done this, not all the time, but several times.
Sure.
I move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider change order number 1 for the external connection meter project.
Yes, this is our project to install meters at all of our external water connections with other water associations, including the University of Mississippi. When the contractor was preparing to order the vaults that the meters will go in, they discovered that the meter is actually about 7 feet deep instead of about 4 feet deep. And so because of that, they've got to order larger vaults, they've got to order stairs, and so there are 2 locations there. And that means that there's an increased cost of $9,920. They also are asking for 60 days of additional contract time due to delays in receipt of materials. There are funds available in the budget for this change order, and so we're just requesting consideration of this increase change order.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, that was quick. I'll ask the board to consider an executive session.
Move we consider executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The board will now consider an executive session.